Shalom, with himself, Salzburg giving no praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakadosh, double honor to the apostle, great millstone, and honor to you brothers doing the work of the most High in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh's raw name with whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah or Yahweh. His raw name is Yahweh. His son's true name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning done, Sham meaning names, Yahweh, the name of Yahweh Shai. Real quick, this one is inspired by Netanyahu's statements of the prophecies of Isaiah, right? But then the question comes, but what about this one? What about Isaiah the second chapter, right? So I'm just gonna build into it real quick, right, and go back to how we've even ended up in this position, right? So you jump back to Hosea, the first chapter, right? Hosea 1 and 9, right? It's talking about the real Israelites, right? Because there was the children of Israel discontinuing from our heritage, right? Is part of what's allowed this man to come and basically steal it, okay? But this was all a part of the Most High's plan, because guess what? We went off when we was punished, and the Lord was like, look, man, I ain't dealing with y'all anymore, okay? So it's Hosea 1 and 9. It says, then said the Most High, call his name lower me, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your power, right? So basically, the Lord Yahweh Hashem shall stop dealing with Israel for a period of time, right? As the 10th verse is going to go in to say, and if I remember, I'll come back to it, right? But basically, the Lord stopped dealing with us in the same way, and allowed us to forget who it was that we were, right? So this is Jeremiah 17 and 4 says, and thou even thyself shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And that's what you've seen, right? But for the most part, before the apostles were on the scene, before the internet, right? If you was outside of America, who were the Israelites? Right, but then the apostles and their teachers before them, right, they've been speaking about who the real Israelites are, right? They've been speaking about this to the end now with the internet, right? Pretty much everyone has in some way, shape, or form heard about the Israelites, okay? But we had forgotten. Right, and even to this day, you speak to certain Jakes, and they don't want to hear that we're Israel. So it says, and thou in even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I'll cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Right, so for a period of time, right, the children of Israel were, once again, Lord weren't dealing with us like that. However, this was always a part of the plan. Okay, let me grab this, add it to the list as well. This is Romans 9. I say the truth, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Ghost, that I have great heaviness and continued sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed for Mashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, right? Giving you a clue also as to whom the book of Romans was written to. It was written to the Israelites that were living in Rome, just like how in this day and age, right, we'd be doing these shows, these epistles, if you will, right? And we may be in New York, maybe in Chicago, maybe in Germany, right? However, we're discussing, and when we're basically preaching salvation to the Israelites that are in those places, right, and we're letting the heathens of those places know the judgment that is to come, okay? But this is it, right? Verse 4 says, who are Israelites? To whom pertaineth the adoption, right? And this is key, because the Lord said, look, I ain't going to deal with you no more, right? But then the Lord always had Yahweh Shai as part of the way that we'd be adopted back unto the Lord, right? When you read Hebrews, the 8th chapter speaks of this, right? It says, and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises, right? So although the Lord stopped dealing with us, right, the Lord allowed us to forget who it is that we were, right? Yahweh Shah was gonna be that mediator, right, of a better way, right? such that we'd be able to then, reach the ways, and rather reach the promise, right, and be returned to the land, right, wherein, we were driven out from. Okay, now this is what these Amalekites try and say. I mean, they don't believe in Yahweh Shai. They don't believe in the Son of the Most High, right? However, this is what they try and claim is their right to be in that land, right? The fact that the Israelites were scattered, there was a diaspora, but now they are returned, right? Now they have come back to the land, that is for them, but they're not the people. Okay, so this is what was, what is supposed to have happened. Now, this is Deuteronomy 30 from the top, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all nations with the Yahweh thy power have driven thee, and shall return unto Yahweh thy power. And, of the real ones, that's what you're seeing all across the world. Right, that's why these elites, they're getting scared, because they're seeing, the breath coming back into, the children of Israel. You think about, I'm trying to think. You think about, Ezekiel the 37th chapter, right, and the Revelation the 11th chapter, also speaking about, an exceeding, a great army, spiritual army, right. And they that saw them were afraid, right? Because when the prophets always came back on the scene, Jeremiah 28:8, right? They weren't coming to say, hey, everything's blessed. They were coming to say, look, man, it's all over, right? So it says, and shall return unto, let me read that again, verse 2, and shall return unto Yahweh thy power, and shall obey his voice, right, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Then that the Lord Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all nations whither Yahweh thy power hath scattered thee. Now, once again, right, of the real ones, right, of us, right, the true Israelites, right, we're scattered all over the world. That was part of the curses spoken of in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, right? And that's why you're having Archeum, being woken up, that looked like everyone, under the sun, right? Because ultimately the Lord is waking up his elect. You read you read Isaiah the 11th chapter, right? It speaks about, basically Israelites from everywhere. Okay. It says, if any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord Yahweh thy power gather thee, from thence will he fetch thee, and Yahweh thy power will bring thee. So he howls, right, by way of his son Yahweh Shai, right, is going to bring us into the land, right, which thy fathers possessed, right. And reason why I was going to read Revelation, the accounts in Revelation, right, he saw Jerusalem come up, but once again, these Amalekites, they don't believe in the New Testament. Okay, and that's because Netanyahu even had the nerve to try and speak about the Amalekites, but it's like, bro, use an Amalekite. Okay, but because the real ones, right, because we had discontinued from our heritage, these small hats were able to try and sneak in there to make it seem like they were the people, right? But they're not the people, because once again, you want to speak about Isaiah. What about this one? Now, what about Isaiah the 2nd chapter? Which Apostle Gabar also asked the same question, right, in the live camp yesterday, right? So let's finish this off, right? It says, and Yahweh thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. Right, and in a similar vein, Ezekiel the 36th chapter. I'm going to read into it. So Ezekiel 36:19, right? And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries according to their way and according to their doings I judged them, right? So the fact that we're amongst these heathens, right? The fact that you got, Archean, that look like these heathens, right, is ultimately one of the curses, right? Once again spoken of, throughout the scriptures, right? It's one of the curses that the Lord was going to bring upon us, right? That we'd be scattered amongst these heathens. It says, and when they entered unto the heathen, right, whither they went, they profaned my holy name, right? When they said unto them, these are the people of Yahweh, and are gone forth out of his land, right? Because, for instance, you think about how we'll be out there on the streets, basically speaking about, hey, look, we're the Israelites. Then you gonna have an individual, grimy ass, a Negro, right? Just walk past and do some degenerate stuff, man. Right, and then here it is. We've just told these individuals, told the world, look, we're the real Israelites. But then you got our people doing a madness, right? And they just paint that broad stroke upon all of us, right? But that's part of it, right? That's part that helps to build that incredulity, right? That we ain't the people, but we are, okay. It says, and when they entered unto the heathen, whither they went, they profaned my holy name. When they said to them, these are the people of Yahweh, and are gone forth out of his land. Right. Once again, we were taken out of the land. Right. The Lord didn't want us to be there. Right. Because we discontinued from our heritage. Okay. But even the fact that these Amalekites are in there now, that's all a part of this, because this is all all a plan of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. It's all Yahweh Hashem Yahushua's story, right? The fact that we got kicked out of that land, that we forgot who we were, that the world forgot who the real Israelites were, right? Then this allowed these Amalekites, these imposters, to go in there, right, and pretend like they're us. Which is why Abdul Gamal Nasser said what he said: "They shall never be peace, because they left black and came back white." Okay, verse 21 says, "But I had pity for mine holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whither they went. Right, therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Lord power, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went. Sanctify my great name." Right, so once again, the name. Okay, and basically we're being saved because of to uplift Yahweh Hashem Yahushua's name. Okay, so it says, "Which ye have profaned in the midst of them, and the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, saith the Lord power, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. For I'll take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land." Right? So that's what's supposed to have happened, right? That's a brief history of Israel leaving the land, right, being scattered, but then being promised to be brought back, right? And then when they were brought back, this prophecy, right, would be fulfilled. Okay. It says, Isaiah 2 from the top says, "The word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house," right, mountain represent government, right, shall be established in the top of the mountains, right, so basically above the other governments, and shall be exalted above the hills, the smaller governments, and all nations shall flow unto it, right? So all nations are basically going to be coming up. So what it's going to say actually, so many people shall go and say, come ye, let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh. Right, so the government of Yahweh, just like how back in the day people would go and see what America has to say, but that influence is waning, right? Some are now looking at what's Russia going to say, some are looking at what's China going to say, right? But in the kingdom, right, which Russians and Americans say Edomites, and Chinese that's Moab, right? But in the time to come, they're going to be coming up to the Israelites. Okay, it says, "To the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways." Now you read, what was it, Deuteronomy 7 or Deuteronomy 4 speaks about what nation is so great to have such laws. Right, people, these heathens are going to be wanting to hear of our laws. Not like now, where people are genuinely in hatred, right, of those Amalekites. Okay, it says, "And we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks," right, which is the inverse of what is spoken of in Joel the 3rd chapter, where it says they shall beat their plowshares into swords and their pruning hooks into spears, roughly paraphrasing, right? Are you getting prepared for war? Whereas this is going to, as it's going to say, it says, "Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." Right? So if they're the people, All right, one, why isn't it that Yahweh Shem Shai brought them back into the land? Why did they have to have this whole law of return? You're seeing the ship there, right? You're seeing them on ships and stuff like that, right? Whereas it says, look, man, Yahweh's gonna bring us back, right? We're gonna come back by way of by chariots, right? With Yahweh Shai. Okay, after watching this place get burned. Then also, why is it that there ain't no what's the word I'm looking for? Why is there a war? Why is there a war right now? Where it says when the people in the land, there's not going to be any war, right? And this single-handedly cuts, because we just heard Netanyahu quote Isaiah, right? Right, so we can use Isaiah too, right? We just say, look, so what about this, right? Because they ain't them. So Revelation 2 and 9, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, right? It's referring to the Israelites. And, people are, oh, yeah, but that was, written to Israelites originally. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. These Revelation 2, Revelation 3 are written to, 1, 2, 3, written to the 7 churches, right, in Asia Minor, right? It's originally talking about Israel, right? However, today we can use these for these Amalekites. Okay, but when it says, I know thou works tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, right? Rich in what? Rich in the spirit, right? Scriptures talk about wisdom as greater than rubies, for example. Right? It goes on to say, though, it says, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, right? And that is their claim. Their whole claim is, look, man, we're the people, right? We're the people, but this storyline doesn't fit them, right? We've just read the storyline, right? That Lord would do away with us, we forget who we were, then the Lord, yeah, and if the Lord hasn't come back, right, then there is no what's the word? There is no adoption. That means if because that's what they say. They say they ain't the there is no Messiah. The Messiah hasn't come. That's what they say, right? Okay, but then how did they get adopted back to Yahweh? So for them, that means their storyline would end here. But once again, we know they ain't the people, and we know Yahweh Shai, as came. We know he suffered, right, and we know that through his suffering, we was able to obtain a new covenant, right, wherein we got joined back with Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, so it goes on to say, yeah, so that's the claim that they are making, right? It says, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, right? And that's it. And I'm just gonna end on this, right? Hosea 1 and 10, right? It says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered. Now there's gonna be a hell of a lot of Israelites, right? And that's it. They'll tell you, oh, there's only a couple million, Israelis and stuff like that. But it's like, wait there, right? Scripture says it's gonna be as the sand of the sea, and who does that fit? Right, Jake just be there's man, there's billions of Jakes upon the face of the earth, man. All right. Then it shall come to pass, and the place where it said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said, ye are the sons of the living power. Because what's what I'm saying? But yeah, because here we're now standing up. The Lord has put the Spirit in us to stand up and be like, look, man, we're the people. They're not the people. We're the real people. Right? And they're saying, no, you're not. No, you're not. But it's okay. Disagree with us, because the Lord is going to show you, right, that we are, that we really are those people, right? Verse 11, right? Then shall the children of Israel, then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together. And that's another thing. They only really speak about Benjamin and Judah and Levi, right, in that land. What about the northern kingdom? Right? What about the other tribes? What about Manasseh? Right? What about Ephraim? Right? What about Gad and Reuben? It says, and appoint themselves one head, right? That's King David, right? And they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel, right? Jezreel, Yazari Allah, he is the seat of the power, i.e. Israel of the land singular, right? The majority of the salvation will happen in America. All right, so as always, Lord's what I was edifying. Until next time, we say Shalom.